Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to do a question and answer session. So the first question that I had was from Doug. He's in Sioux Falls, and he's asking about what to do about the left arm and coaching and how to explain that to his athletes. So the left arm for me, it is kind of a complicated topic. I'll try not to go into too much detail here, but when I'm coaching what to do with the left arm, I first kind of describe what it does. And for me, the left arm is your counterbalance to your right arm. So as I'm moving down the runway, my left arm has to compensate for the lack of movement on my right arm. So my right arm's kind of stuck. It's not allowed to move around a whole lot with the javelin. It stays there. So I've got to overcompensate through here. The same concept goes for when you're running. So if I'm stepping here with my right hip forward, if you notice as we run, we compensate. We go opposite arm. Okay, so as you go through, it's opposite arm. And the reason is that the hips move side to side. It pulls your core, right? So you're using your upper body as a counter to what the lower body is doing, so that you can run in a straight line. So as you're coming down the runway, it's the same idea. As I'm running down the runway, my hips are starting to turn, so I'm going to use my left arm and I'm going to go opposite. So as I'm running through here and running through here, you can see that I'm going to counteract with what forces are getting put on my core. Now, the last part of your approach, when you go through that crossover, you're going to land on that right foot for you right-handed throwers. When you land on that right foot, the arm does a lot of stuff for counterbalancing what the lower body is doing. It also sort of sets you up to be able to deliver your throw forward. As I land on that right foot, I go through what I call the 4 phases of the delivery. First phase, left shoulder starts to move. Second phase, the right hip starts to move me into the third phase, which is the block. And then the fourth phase is the strike. That's the upper body taking over and transferring the energy into the spear. So as you land on your right foot, first phase is me getting my left arm starting to move down here and out of the way. Okay. As I move it out of the way, my right hip's going to take over and it's going to move me into that block. From here, my left leg is going to lock in place along with my left arm. And that immediately gets to the strike. Boom, all the way through the throw. So left arm, again, I just want to move it out of the way so that I can get into that striking phase. If this is the first phase, and this is the last phase. There's other stuff that happens in between. As soon as I hit my block, it's immediate. I got to get rid of that javelin. I can't wait for my right hip to go and then the strike to take place. I want my hip to already be moving me into that block, so as soon as I hit the block, it's immediate. Upper body takes over, and there goes the throw. Okay. So left arm has to start moving and allow that right hip to start moving into your block. As soon as you hit the block, you're going to lock that left side. That includes the left leg and then the left shoulder. Okay, so here's the 4 phases put together. Okay, left arm as I go into that right hip, into the block, immediately strike. Do it again here without the commentary. Okay, so there you go. That's the left arm. Now there's three, maybe there's probably even more ways to explain it, but some of the analogies that folks have used to use the left arm. I like the steering wheel analogy. That means you're going to turn that steering wheel from here, you're going to turn it down and allow the hip to move through and finish your throw. Now, if you think of the concept of the steering wheel, you're not going to turn it and pull towards yourself. Okay, you're going to turn that steering wheel and you're going to move towards the steering wheel and deliver your throw. Okay, so the chest moves into the throw and then that arm finishes up there, into the delivery. So, second analogy. In fact, it was one of my new throwers that kind of described it for me, and that was the way he was kind of making a connection in his mind, and that was he was doing lat pulls. And so he's doing lat pulls this way, and that basically meant that he was pinching his shoulder blades back, which is, for me, in my head, how to get my shoulders to stay back. But if you think of it a lat pull, I'm just thinking left side lat pull. Okay, so the right side doesn't move, left side lat pull, and you're just going to move down through here. Once you get your chest free of that left arm, there goes the delivery, right? The other way that I look at it is I'm just going to pinch my shoulder blades just a little bit. So as I bring that left arm, I'm going to pinch the shoulder blades a little bit. Now I'm not pinching and sending both shoulder blades back. I'm just pinching and getting the left shoulder blade. That way I can get the chest into the direction of my throw, and I can deliver it from there. All right, the other piece to the left arm, and that is creating an orbit. Now, I like to describe this one to sort of my beginning javelin throwers. It seems to make a little bit more sense. But the left arm is going to create the orbit that my right arm is going to follow. So if I pull through here, the natural orbit is going to follow around this way. Okay. If I go down through here, the right side is going to follow through and go this direction. And that's the natural orbit. That means if I wasn't going to use my muscles to manipulate that orbit in mid-orbit, that's the path that it would take just naturally without any disruption. Okay. Now, obviously, we have muscles and stuff, so we can manipulate the movements as you're moving through it. But for me, I want to look at left arm creating the right arm orbit. So that's why I go through here, and then I deliver through here. So I want to get my body balanced so that I'm not falling over during that process. But again, my left arm is just dropping out of the way, chest moves, finishes through, and there's my throw. One last piece to the left arm. I don't want to pull back with the left arm. I know, this is a very popular thing for coaches to say, which is pull back on that left arm, crank it back. That way you can get your right shoulder to strike. I kind of disagree with that philosophy. The way I look at it is I want to get my body moving at my target. If I'm pulling back and taking energy away from my target, it's going to take something away from the throw. Again, my left shoulder kind of does the compensating. It's kind of moving around to keep me balanced, to allow the motion to take place. If I pull back on my left arm, I not only take away force going that way, I get to my throw too quickly. So if I want to release, here above my head, and I pull back this way, I'm going to get to the release point way too early. My body still could go forward, but I'm open, and now I've got to deliver the throw. If I go from here and I get my chest to move into the throw, I can get an additional couple of feet of pull because my body is still moving towards the throw, or towards the direction of the throw. So if I pull back, I shorten the length of pull, I don't allow as much energy to move in the direction of the throw, and it can kind of disrupt the balance of your throw. Okay, so I will leave it at that. Doug, thanks for writing. I always appreciate hearing from you. It was a great question. Hopefully this was a good way of explaining it. If you guys have questions, send me an email. It's shalley@coachhalley.com, and I'll try and put a video together and post it. I always appreciate new ideas and questions, so send them my way. Maybe I can put it together into a video. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon for notifications, so every time I upload a new video, you'll get notified. And until I see you next time, have fun and go far.